All right, I've got a son. Some of you met him before. When he was small, he never would go to bed. He would just stay up all night long. And somebody told me to start telling some fairy tale stories, kind of like we all grew up with, and all the stories that we used to enjoy. But it just didn't work. Nowadays, kids or video games and everything else, you just can't keep their attention. Well, somebody told me, just take the same old fairy tales that we loved growing up as a kid and say them backwards. So I was like, backwards? All right. He said, for instance, instead of Cinderella, you read the story of Rendercella. So I'm going to read everybody the story that he told me to tell my son. So please enjoy. All right. For mentor, I thought I needed longer arms. All right. Once upon a time, in a corn country, there lived a beautiful girl, and her name was Rendercella. Now, Rendercella lived with her mugly other and her two sad blisters. Also, in this same corn country, there was a very pransome hens. Now, this pransome hens was going to have a fancy ball. And he invited the people for riles a mountain, especially the pitch people. You always want pitch people at your parties, they make it kind of fancy, Now, Rendercella's mugly other and her two sad blisters, well, they went out to buy some drancy fesses, to wear to this fancy ball. But Rendercella couldn't go, because all she had to wear was some old riddy dags. And so finally, the night of the fancy fall arrived, and Rendercella couldn't go. So she just sat down and cried. She was kitting there, shrying, when all at once there appeared before her Gary Mudfather. I know, that's what I'm saying. And he touched her with his magic mand. And there appeared before her a cage brooch and Hicks white sources, to take her to that fancy ball. But he said, now, Rendercella, you be sure and be home before midnight, or I'll turn you into a pumpkin. Dramatic pause. So when Rendercella arrived at the fancy fall, this pransome hens met her at the door because he'd been watching all this time behind a window. And Rendercella and the pransome hens, they danced all night. And they lull and fub. Well, and all at once, the mid-clock struck night, and Rendercella stanced down the stairs and slopped her dripper. So the next day, the pransome hens, he went all over this corn country looking for the beautiful girl who had slopped her dripper. Well, finally, he came to Rendercella's house. Well, he tried it on her mugly other, and it didn't did. And he tried it on her two siggly usters, and it didn't did. Well, then he tried that on Rendercella, and it did. It was exactly the sight rise. So they got married, and they lived heavenly after hamsters. But now the story of the more is, if you go to a fancy fall and you want to have a pransome hens lull and fub with you, don't forget to slop your dripper.
Hey, do you have a question for Chris?
I have a question for Chris.
And right over here so everyone can see you.
Okay.
Betty, you have a question for me?
Yes, I do, Chris. Did you know that your friend Doug has been hanging out with the Lee sisters?
No, Doug hanging out with the Lee sisters. Who are the Lee sisters?
It's ugly and homely.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patsy Cline singing She's Got You.
All right. I may look a little like Loretta from earlier in the show. I get that a lot. I've got your picture that you gave to me, and it's signed with love, just like it used to be. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got your picture, she's got you. I've got the records that we used to share. They still sound the same, just like when you were here. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got the records, she's got you. I've got your memory, oh, has it got me? I really don't know, but I know that it won't let me be. I've got your class ring that proved you care, and it still looks the same, like when you gave it, dear. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got these little things, she's got you. I've got your memory, or has it got me? I really don't know, but I know it won't let me be. I've got your class ring that proved you care, and it still looks the same as when you gave it, dear. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got these little things, she's got you.
Here, super job. Share some wisdom, sister.
Well, howdy again. Oh, I gotta tell you folks, I had an operation, and I think the doctor must have put my pacemaker in wrong, because every time my husband kisses me, the garage door goes up and down. Oh my, you should see the critters running in there, getting warm. Well, my husband for many years had a beard. Kissing a man with a beard is kind of like going to a picnic. You don't mind going through a little bush to get there. Oh, his kisses were good with that fuzz on his face. Oh my, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I gotta tell you, there was a traveling salesman in our country one day. He was going down the country road, lost his way out. He didn't know where he was going, this traveling salesman. So while he was driving down our dirt road, he spied a house down the street, and old Farmer Jones was back there in the yard. He pulled his car up to that farmer and asked him for directions to town. While the farmer was giving the salesman directions, the salesman couldn't help but notice a pig. Now we got a cow up here, but this was a pig. A pig in a pen, and it was a pig pen, I'm sorry. He saw the pig pen. I need a pig, not a cow.
This is a backdrop.
Backdrop. All right, he saw a pig pen and a large hog inside the pig pen. To his surprise, the hog had a wooden peg in place of his right hind leg. So after receiving directions to town, the salesman asked about the hog's wooden leg. The farmer replied, "Well, that's not just any hog. That's a special hog. Well, just last summer, I was plowing in that field over there, and the tractor turned over on me, pinning me under it. Well, sir, that hog saw what happened. He rooted under the fence and ran out to where I was. Then he rooted all around me till I could crawl out from under that tractor. Yes, sir, that hog saved my life." The salesman said the hog was indeed special, but it still didn't explain the wooden peg in place of his right hind leg. "Son," the farmer said, looking at the hog, "with a hog as special as he is, you don't want to eat it all at once." Oh, that poor hog. Just the other day, I had to take an airplane flight. Now, how many of you have ever taken an airplane flight recently? What do we got there at the airport now? We got these TSA men. Some are women, but a lot of them are men. And one of these TSA men frisked me up and down all over. Well, I turned right around and went outside and came back in and got in line again. How many of you ever had a dog? Yeah, dogs. Gotta have a dog. My brother got a new dog. He named him Careless because he got him for a hunting dog, and he cares less about hunting than any dog I've ever seen. He's not a hunting dog at all. We got time for one more?
One more.
One more. All right, how many of you like to hunt? Any hunters in here? Oh, we got a lady hunter, a couple ladies. Woohoo, good for you girls. All right. It seems that there was a fellow out in the woods hunting the deer as he usually did each year. While he was on watch, a group of wild turkeys flew by. Now, turkeys were out of season, but the man could not resist the temptation, and he managed to shoot 3. As luck would have it, just then a deer came along and he bagged that one too. After cleaning out the deer, he shoved the 3 turkeys inside so no one would see them. As he started to drag the deer from the woods, a game warden stopped him, checked his tag and the deer, saw that everything seemed to be in order, and offered to help the man drag the deer from the woods. The man said, "Oh, no, I can do it myself." But the officer insisted to help, and off they went, dragging that deer. Well, after a short time, the 3 turkeys came tumbling out, and the officer looked at the hunter straight in the eye and said, "Well, what do you have to say for yourself?" The man sheepishly looked down at the turkeys, down at the deer, then at the warden, and he replied, "Whew, boy, it's a good thing I shot that deer. he would have eaten a whole flock of turkeys.